The commercial success of Silksong has many reasons. The long wait time, the success of its predecessor, but I want to stop and talk about something huge that seems like a lot of people are taking too lightly: the $20 price tag and what it means for the future of the gaming industry. Silksong is the exception in today's gaming industry, a game which has been long awaited by fans and is the passion project of a dedicated team looking to put out the best game possible out there. But it wasn't always the case. This used to be the norm. To understand what changed, we have to look back at the evolution of the gaming industry. As someone who has been working in the gaming industry for the past 10 years, and for the purposes of this video, I would like to separate the history of game development into 3 very broad eras. By the way, I know this isn't the classic way nor an extremely precise way to look at this, but I'm really trying to simplify things in order to get to the punch as fast as possible. The first era is the retro era, which is where it all began. The genesis of video games and arcades, and is a way to turn the TV into more than just a watching experience. That era was defined by costly games and consoles, as they cost their companies a fortune in research and development. There was also very little competition at the time, so gaming companies could name a very high price since their target audience could afford it. Gaming still wasn't extremely popular, but it was definitely growing bigger with each decade. The second era, known as the modern golden era, started around the early 90s when the industry went into overdrive thanks to the success of the personal computer. A ton of competition entered the market and companies were looking for one thing: be the best. Innovative ideas flooded the market, and major players in the industry made a footprint by creating addictive games that provide endless fun and excitement, and to this day are hailed as timeless masterpieces, such as Doom, Heroes, Age of Empires, and Warcraft. Every single one of these franchises, to this day, 30 years later, had such an incredible impact on the gaming industry that they still have avid fandoms making the game live on. But in my opinion, it was in 2019 when COVID hit, the gaming industry entered a very dark time, one which I personally felt as I was already part of the industry. COVID-19 offered a unique opportunity to double and even triple revenue, and mobile games were at an all-time high. Some call it the era of greed. It looked like every game coming out was trying to break records of disgusting ways to make more money. Microtransactions, loot boxes, limited time skins, gacha. The goal shifted from trying to create the best game possible to create the most profitable game possible. Just a clarification, some of these tactics did exist to some extent before, but COVID pushed it all the way to the stratosphere. You see, I'm not naive. I know very well that the goal was always to make as much money as possible, but the strategy was completely different. Back then, executives believed that making the best game equals more players equals more profit. But as Western customers grew richer and richer and mobile games showed that dark tactics generate incredible income with minimal effort, the mindset changed. Teams look at user behavior and try to find areas where they're easy prey and would be willing to spend even more on their game while cutting corners in the production process and save money. Usually, this means replicating existing content while also adding in-game purchases that honestly shouldn't exist in the game they're building. But I have to wonder where the limit is. How far companies go until gamers won't follow? It feels like they see it as there is no limit, because we are all just suckers who will pay whatever they ask for no matter how low the quality is and how high the price. But I think there are clear signs that they are wrong. There's a hidden cost that doesn't show up right away, but eventually hits very hard. That cost is trust. I like to picture trust as a kind of currency. High trust means players believe in the company and are quick to buy their games. That's why, even though Cyberpunk 2077 launched as a buggy, broken mess, CD Projekt Red built up enough trust to survive it, and I have no doubt that Witcher 4 will sell just fine. New studios start at zero, and as they put out good games, they build trust. Every solid launch, patch, or even a good social media post earns them points. That trust is like free marketing. It pushes customers to buy. But when a company makes a bad move, that trust gets chipped away. Lately, though, we've seen trust completely collapse at companies that used to be beloved. Blizzard, Disney, Ubisoft, and Bethesda have all joined the likes of EA and Microsoft. It feels like their trust balance is on the negative now, which means they have to work overtime just to get players to care. These names used to sell games by themselves. Now they're more like warning labels. And that collapse has left space on the other side of the market. Space for studios still following the old philosophy: make better games, earn more money. I've been inside both kinds of companies, and the difference is night and day. On one side of the table, you hear, how do we raise prices? How do we add holiday-only skins? How do we lock cosmetics behind loot boxes so players spend more? And on the other side, you hear, how do we release content that it's fun, engaging, and something players will love? And because that right side of the field is so empty, it's almost like a multiplier added to an already high trust count. That means that maybe in the short term, their games make less money, but as time goes by, their revenue grows exponentially. And on the other end, with every release, their revenue grows thinner, and salvaging that broken trust is going to be extremely difficult, though not impossible. I'm looking at you, Hello Games, you beautiful bastards. In my opinion, Silksong just dropped a bomb on the industry with a price tag of $20. It's such an outlandish move that even suggesting it in a big corporation would probably get me fired. When companies price a game, they usually make the following chart. If we sell the game for $40, 1 million players will buy it, grossing $40 million. If we sell the game for $50, only 900,000 players will buy it, but it will gross $45 million. So they go with option B. So what if they have 100,000 players less? That's $5 million right into their pocket. And that's all that matters. As I see it, Team Cherry added a third option: sell the game for $20 and make less, knowing full well that they could definitely make more with the higher price tag, because they see a third column, which is trust value for each decision. They prioritized the joy of their player base over short-term profit, a sentence that would definitely get you kicked out of any mobile gaming company. Another game where I feel like the studio made a similar yet different decision was Baldur's Gate 3. From a game development perspective, that game would have definitely generated more revenue by being split into 2 titles, each with 1 or 2 paid DLCs, but they consciously made the decision not to. They went all out on every aspect of the game and chose to make it really long and full of content. Again, I'm sure Larian Studios are 10 times more experienced than I am, so they definitely had that idea on the table, yet they made the decision not to go down that path. They chose to just create the best game possible over making more money. And if you played Baldur's Gate 3, you know it's a product of love and not greed. And I think there's an additional reason companies make this decision that feels like a taboo in today's industry: passion. As someone who usually reviews movies, passion seems almost non-existent in both industries. Movies and games undergo so many meetings, so many corporate approvals, so many checkboxes where every movie has to have a character from every race and color and sexuality. Even if it's a historical event, even if it's a fantasy world, it just has to have this restrictive mold that there's so little wiggle room for creativity, passion, or excellence. Creating a good product is just not a priority because studios think that the audience will follow no matter what. Just spend more money on marketing, push it down their throat, add more microtransactions to compensate for lower player base. Just greed in every direction. And this year, I feel like that invisible line has been crossed. Like the trust value has gone so low that fans stopped following, and the industry is going to have a very rude awakening that would sadly fall on the shoulders of the very same workers who were against this direction all along. I feel like the most obvious example is Marvel and DC. My channel is about movies, and I have been reviewing them for many years on many different platforms, so I feel like I'm somewhat qualified to say that the new Superman and Fantastic Four are objectively good movies. They are well executed, well shot, well paced, and the script is extremely solid in both cases. And yet, they flopped in theaters, which is such a blow to the industry. We moved from making money on bad movies to losing money on great movies.
Well. How the turntables...
I think that the gaming industry is headed towards that same exact direction, where even if Blizzard released an amazing StarCraft 3, it will barely sell any copies due to low trust, resulting in sunsetting this franchise for good, which is such a shame for both company and the fans. I really hope that instead of hiring crisis CEOs that would look to maximize short-term profit and sell the company for a high price, companies will hire passionate people from the inside and give them enough time to restore at least some of the trust to help bring this era of greed to an end. If it doesn't happen, the gaming industry will inevitably shrink, resulting in massive layoffs, less games, and less competition, which is exactly what happened to the dying industry of esports. For me, Silksong is a beacon. It's an example of what the gaming industry can become, what it should become, what it once was not too long ago. Where passion outweighs greed, perfection is more important than an early broken release, and fun ideas are at the core that drives the product forward. I remember hearing an interview with the CEO of Team Cherry and hearing him say that the reason the game is postponed is that they have too many fun ideas. And at that exact moment, I had no doubt in my mind that this game is going to be a hit. The $20 price tag was just the cherry on top.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
We, as gamers, must unite under the Team Cherry banner and support them as hard as we can. The louder the success of Silksong, the stronger the echo in the industry will be, and if a change does arrive, we will all be the winners. This is my first video about video games. I hope it doesn't only get 100 views, but even if it does, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing, as it lets me know you want more of this type of content, and I'll see you in the next one.